Recording in progress.
Alright, welcome back, folks. This is week 8. Alright, core stability and posture. So, as far as this class, we are going to be on the floor, on the chair, some standing. We'll try to do a little bit more core just besides the whole plank. I know we do a lot of planks, a lot of isometric movements or lack of movements where we're just kind of like standing still, holding or bracing ourselves, just kind of, which still works, but we'll try to incorporate a little bit more core, some ab movements today. So, but nonetheless, we got to warm up. So let's look left to right. I don't mind warming up a little bit more. Burn 300 calories. I think after this class, we'll probably be close to 500 calories. So. And again, if you happen to be on my Friday and Saturday 10 a.m. morning class, these next 3 weeks we will be shifting it to 8 o'clock. I hope that doesn't disturb anyone's schedule or, just how the class is flowing. But just with these weather becoming a little bit warmer later into the day, we just want to make sure that, we are feeling comfortable in this class. Let's do our neck circles. And if you recall, that class, I believe, is our balance class. So we'll start off with balance and stretching, balance and stability, and then the 9 a.m. class that will follow will be our functional conditioning class. Switch. And then just a couple other announcements. It looks like re-enrollment into the fall has begun. I know half of my classes now have been re-enrolled. The Mondays and Wednesdays 10 a.m. class have been re-enrolled and just waiting on the other classes. If you happen to, let's do our Snow Angels, not get added to that list that you requested not to be re-enrolled or you were going to do it on your own, the fall registration opens today. So you have access now to not just my classes, but there's more classes. And if you're just trying to figure out your scheduling, you could sign up now. So look at what classes are available. If you weren't on that list and you wish to enroll into one of mine, please do. Let's bring that right arm across. No World Cup games today. Tomorrow they will resume. I just canceled my my YouTube TV subscription because I just got it for 1 month for the games. So I didn't like paying $60 though for that 1 month. So I just had it for 1 month and canceled it. Let's turn left to right. I like following the sports and it's fun and they're entertaining. But I don't know if I could follow a team or multiple teams throughout an entire length of a season. Like I'm a Dodgers fan, but I can't sit down and watch all 150 something games a year, right? It's just a lot, especially when games are 2 to 3 hours long. I don't have time to sit down and do all of that. That's why I like watching Formula 1 racing, because it's usually, we did our trunk rotations, our ab circles. With Formula 1, a lot of the competitions there, in Europe or Asia, so a lot of the races happen between 4 and 7 in the morning on a Sunday, which is when, it's kind of quiet hours here at home. So I could watch, in the races, there's 24 races? I believe it's 24 races. in the whole year from March until December, big hula hoops. So yeah, so 24 races, instead of 150 something from April to November, it is a lot more reasonable. So I'll watch those. And the only thing that I'm sorry if I'm just yapping over here, but with the Formula One racing or any sports in general that does irritate me with social media is that I plan on watching. Sometimes I don't get up at 4 in the morning to watch the race, so I plan to watch a replay of it later in the day. But then I go on like Facebook or on Instagram, and then sure enough, they posted right there who won the race and who got second and who got third. That's their quad stretch. So when I see that, I don't even want to watch the replay of the race because now I know who won. And so, yeah. Right, first world problems right there. Social media ruining my race schedule. Switch. Do we have any like diehard fans of any sports or teams in here? Like you can't miss a crocheting competition or or what's like horse races. Those seem fun actually. Let's do our deep squat stretch. Ella, do you do like singing competitions too, or is it just concerts now?
Just concerts.
Nice. That's good. Shift left to right. So Debbie, let us know when you open up your Etsy market, okay? Because you'll have some customers for sure. Did you do that on your own, Debbie? Whoa, Wayne Ducks, okay. NHL, hockey. Alrighty, so we're gonna go ahead and begin with some of our chair stretches. Hi, Debbie. Oh, I think you're muted still.
My computer's acting really weird today, but
no worries.
I don't have an Etsy site. My kids keep telling me, but
I'm telling you, do it. You could have the backdrop that you have right there. That could be one of the the eye catchers. Yep. So let's go ahead and start with some more passive movements. We'll do with some shoulder circles. But yeah, you should consider it. I know my sister, she doesn't have an Etsy shop. She has something else, but she resells clothes. And what she does is, I believe she lives out there. I think I mentioned her many times. She lives in Washington. So there's some like thrift stores that sell clothes by the pound. Like if it was like fruit. Let's go in reverse. So she has a good eye for some items, and she'll buy some clothes by the pound, and she puts them up on this site. And yeah, that's how she doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mom, and that's how she gets like like her play money, if you would call it that. And but I had a friend in college that had an Etsy shop, and she would make stickers, and she had a good eye to like draw and sketch, and she would just put some of her favorite ones into stickers, and they would just sell. Sometimes she would sell 10 in a day, sometimes 1 in a week, and they just kind of move sometimes. Let's do our trunk rotation. See, in that picture that you had on the shirt, Debbie, that all I did was I uploaded a picture of myself. I told the AI software, which is Gemini, that's the Google one, I told it, put this man leading a mobility and flexibility class. And then it like loads for like 10 seconds and then it spits that image. And there you go, you got an awesome shirt. Let's switch. I kept trying to do that with the picture that we took as a group, and it kept giving me like multiple images of like, you know, of like Carmen or Josefina. I had Josefina with the green backpack in there, and then one of them, I usually have it as make the guy wearing the hat or the tank top leading the class, and I think there is like, I don't know if Wayne or Ramon had a hat, but it made one of them the instructor instead on one of the images, so which is pretty neat. So let's go ahead and do our chin tucks. So torso is nice and upright here, and then bring your chin in and out, in, out, in, out. Very good. Okay. Again, a lot of posture comes, I think when people think posture, it's usually that arching of the back. It's always straighten out your back. Keep your back straight. So it's not just that, it's also keeping your shoulders rolled back, and then also your spine and your core stable. So what I want you to do right now is we're going to go ahead, reach up towards the ceiling. Try not to slouch forward, so keep your back engaged. Reach up. And then now from this position, try to sink your scapula, which is like your wings. So your shoulder blades, try to sink them down. Okay, so from here, just sink them down, if that makes sense. So you're almost pushing down, almost like if you had a heavy weight above your head and you're trying to support it a little bit more, so you're gonna incorporate your back into it, so you're dipping your wings a little bit back. Okay. It's not a very big movement. It's almost like when I ask you to try to arch your foot without moving your toes. It's almost one of those movements. It's very minimal, but you could activate that back muscle. Okay? Very good. Alrighty. Let's go ahead. If you have a towel nearby or a resistance band would be even better. Go ahead and grab that, but let's grab a towel real quick or a resistance band. Looking for this band. Yeah, so if you ever come across like one of these bands, you know, just go ahead and I would invest into one of these because you could use these for legs but also for arms. So if you have one of these loop bands, great. If you don't, a towel will do. You're just gonna get a little bit more out of this one, okay? So we're still sitting, okay? So if you have the band, what the band allows you to do is pull away, and as you're trying to pull away, it's trying to come back, right? A towel is not gonna do that. So what I need you to do, if you have a towel, still pull away. So keep that towel straight, and as you're doing that, bring your elbows back and then forward, okay? When you go forward, that tension is gonna release a little bit, but as you're bringing them back, you'll notice your fists have to separate a little bit from each other as the elbows are separating. So there's gonna be that tension going on. Okay? So you see right here, this band is this wide, and as I'm bringing them back, it's going bigger. So again, there's that tension. So just keep tension on that towel or on that band. One more. Good. Alrighty. Oof. Give yourself a little rest because that's like a strength movement there. Okay. Next is gonna be, don't depend on the backrest so much of your chair, but we're gonna do the same, but here and then down. Okay. So that's gonna work more on your shoulders and on your back. Okay. So again, tension, stretch out, and then down and up. So you might feel your forearms getting a little bit tired, or your entire arms, maybe fatigue. Very good. All right, we're gonna get on our feet. Okay. Grab a dumbbell if you have it nearby. Do a little bit of an oblique crunch, stretch. So grab that dumbbell. All right, ready? So we're here, and we're just gonna dip that dumbbell to our side. So we start here at one side, it's on my right hip, and I'm just gonna bring it close to my right knee, okay? So think more of just sinking that dumbbell down. Don't think so much of it as like a neck movement. I'm gonna keep that head straight. Feel a little bit of a stretch on that left side, a little bit of a crunch on that right. Let's switch. And again, just slide that dumbbell straight down. Very good. All right, this next one is gonna be a little bit of a leg workout, but also some core stability. This is gonna be an overhead walking lunge, okay? So what we're gonna do is arms up, and then just do a walking lunge. Keep that dumbbell over your head. And let's do a total of 10 lunges, so 5 on each leg. And put that dumbbell down. Alright, take a minute, grab some water. We'll regroup right now. You could set up your yoga mat actually if you like. be right there. And we are on the floor. Sorry about that. There we go. I sometimes get these random emails, and some folks sometimes think that, you know, that I don't do anything all day, and I'm just, you know, sitting on the couch waiting for updates, and I had to respond to an email. I'm just not hanging out here, not doing anything. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with our sliding sit-up. We're here on our laps, hands on our laps. Slide your hands to your knees and back down. Okay, we're gonna do 50 seconds of these. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. So just slide your hands towards your knees. The remainder of your class will probably be here on the floor. We're at 30 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. Alright, let's get on our sides. Let's do some side planks. Okay, side planks. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and up. On our side. Elbow to ankle or elbow to knee. 50 seconds. Got 20 more seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. You're gonna switch. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Up. And 25 more seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of core right now. And just check the chat. All right, so we're gonna go with Russian twist, okay? So this is good for our spine with some rotation going on here. So we're gonna go ahead and recline back, dumbbell at your side, and then elbows side to side. If that seems easy enough, you could elevate your heels and go left to right, okay? 50 seconds of Russian twist. Ready? 3, 2, 1, and go. Remember, if your heels, if we can't elevate those heels, you could set them down, or maybe just drop one heel, and every 5 seconds or so, you could switch to the other one. But try to bring your elbows behind your back. $15 more seconds. Three, 2, 1, time. All right. Very good. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do some weighted sit-ups, okay? Or assisted sit-ups. This is where we have here like a regular on our back, dumbbells are elevated, arms are extended, and you're just gonna go shoulders off the ground. So don't worry about, traditional sit-up where folks are trying to get their chest up to their knees. What I care more about is keeping your arms extended and the shoulders leave the floor. Okay? So that's enough for me. Alright, same thing, 30, 40, or 50 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, 30 seconds. $40. Come on, keep it going. 5 more seconds. And time. Woo. Good work. Alright. What do we have next? Alright, we have dead bugs, okay? So dead bugs with the isometric wall, okay? So if you have a wall behind you, go ahead and push your hands up against it, and you're just gonna extend one leg at a time. Okay, and if you don't have a wall behind you, what I want you to do is to apply pressure on that leg that's staying still. So if we're here, remember, we're gonna go opposite hand to opposite knee. So we're extending left arm and right arm, and then we're coming back and extending the other. But we're pressing on that opposing leg, okay? So there's always gonna be tension. So there's either tension behind you on that wall behind you, or you could do the alternating. Okay? 3, 2, 1, go. I'm gonna go with that opposing knee. So again, extending the opposite arm, opposite leg, and then you're applying pressure on that opposing knee as well. 25 seconds. We're at 30. Oof. They're harder than what they seem. 40. Oof. 3, 2, 1. Time. All right. We have opposite shoulder taps, okay? So shoulder taps, this is gonna be with either with the knee plank, you're tapping your opposite shoulder, or we're gonna be on a high plank tapping your opposite shoulder, okay? So either one or that one. Okay, 50 seconds as well. We'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So tap your opposite shoulder from a knee plank or a high plank. Keep going, we're at 30 seconds. Forty seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time. All right. Oof. Rest your arms. I feel like that's the most abs I've done in a long time, and it's only been like 5 minutes. Those weighted ones really got me. Okay? Alright, let's go ahead and work on that reverse plank. So that's going to be in this position where we're lifting our hips off the ground, being supported by our hands and our heels. Okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, and up. So again, if you showed up late, we just talked about how this is the last 3 weeks, and for these last 3 weeks on Fridays and Saturdays, we're going to be moving our 10 a.m. class to 8 a.m. just to get a little break from the heat. So, wish I could do that with the other days, but yeah, my schedule won't allow that. 15 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, time. Very good. Oof. All right. On our backs, back to the sit-up position, we're gonna do knee drops. This is more of a stretch than an actual movement. Just kind of get a nice break from the movements, and it's more of a lower back stretch here, okay? So get in that sit-up position. If you're a little bit more advanced or flexible, you could elevate into a crunch. So you're dropping, you get a little bit more rotation out of it, okay? 3, 2, 1, go. 50 seconds. I get a big stretch on the lateral glute side. It's on the outside of my glutes. I feel that stretch there. Twenty more seconds. Just keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Alrighty, folks. That should do it for today. I'm just gonna finish off with our kneeling stretch here. Get a little bit of a back stretch, which is here. Stretching out that leg. Lean forward. Come upright, rotate that torso, and then bring that hind arm over, also stretching the back. Resetting. Alright, left leg extended, lean forward, stretch out that lower back. Right, turn your torso this way, lean, and bring that hind arm. And reset. Alrighty. Gotta relax those abs for a little bit. Any questions before we head out? Alright, folks, tomorrow, remember, we're lifting and we're stretching if you're with me in class. So, Carmen, you had a question?